Let's go, baby. It's 2023, and that means it's time for my third annual budget build recommendations. Welcome to the channel. I'm Great Tommy. This is Straight Six Fan, your home for offbeat hot rodding. And yes, with another calendar year, that means it's time to unveil the top 5 budget builds going into 2023. This is the third time I've done this. They've been successful videos in the past, so why stop now? I do have a minor tweak to the rules that I've used in years past. I think you're gonna like them, but let's go grab a beer, let's sit down, and let's get into that. Alright, so let's get into this. If you're new to the channel, if you don't know what the heck I mean by offbeat hot rodding, the whole point of my channel is that to prove, you know, if you want to get in this hobby, or this bad habit of hot rodding, is you don't have to wait out for the Holy Grail. You don't have to have a ton of money. You don't have to get overwhelmed by the Swiss cheese version of a 65 Ford Mustang. The idea is find something that's a, we'll call it not even a B-list car, but maybe a C-list car that's in good shape. It's got V8 power, and it's got rear-wheel drive. Because at the end of the day, what do we want to do? We just want to do some sick burnouts, right? And we want to sound good. So that's the primary criteria, and what I found here in 2023 is that I don't know if things have changed on Facebook Marketplace. Leave a comment below if there's a better classified switch. I mean, you know, what was it, 10 years ago, it was always Craigslist, and then that got supplanted by Facebook Marketplace as the place to go for used cars and things like that. It seems like nowadays Facebook Marketplace, I don't end up with as many search results as I used to. So now here's what stayed the same from years past. As I mentioned, V8 power and rear wheel drive. Now here's what's changed for 2023. Instead of the normal $3,300 budget, I've added 11% to that because, of course, in the first quarter of 2022 we had 11% inflation. So the almighty dollar does not go as far as it once did, so we're upping the budget to $3,650. And again, though, we are keeping that 90% rule. If you're curious what that means, DM me, ask me a question in the comments. I'll be happy to explain it, but I explain it in the 2021 version. So we upped the budget, and then instead of me just putting a 250-mile radius around my current home address, I went to about 5 or 6 different spots in the country, did the same 250-mile radius, to try to make, instead of just being my regional trends, get a much closer to a national trend. Alright, I know this isn't going up on a Friday, but let's do this in the old-fashioned 5-minute Friday format, and let's put 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get started. Number 1, we will just pick up where we left off from 2022 with a repeat client, and that is the Panther Platform up until 1991. There are plenty of these out there. You'll get that 5-liter 302, Ford 302 as a nice base. I mean, remember what I did with Project Low Fairmont? Slap on some GT40P heads, up the compression, and have a good time. I recommend a up to 1991 Ford Panther Platform. Alright, number 2, before we get deep into what that exactly is, I did want to say, much like 2022, we do have a rule breaker, and that'll be at the end, so I'll save that for number 5. But shoot, now that I think about it, I never told you what those rules are. Well, I kind of did. There was the 2 plus 2, what stays, what's different. But the 5th rule is that it assumes the entry-level hot rodder doesn't have a truck and trailer, so you got to be able to drive it home. So that's the 5th rule. I guess the 6th rule is that we're by and large looking for straight bodies, things that don't need body work. So we're always looking for candidates that have nice, clean bodies. But number 2, this one's going to be a little bit of a stretch because I'm going to cast a wide net and I'm going to include two makes, Ford and Dodge, but we're going to use the same, we'll say, year range from 1980 to 1991. F-150s or D-150s, and honestly I didn't find any that were single cab short bed V8 opportunities in great shape, but I just think because I kept seeing both of those trucks over and over and over of all the different areas that I looked at, that if you hold out, if you wait long enough, I think you will find a bullnose or bricknose Ford or D-150 in good shape in that single cab format in rear wheel drive within this $3,650 price range. Number 3, let's get into the Chrysler M-Platform. Yes, I know these are dorky. I know they're mostly all 4-doors. We're talking the New Yorker, we're talking the Fury, we're talking the Dodge Diplomat, but you could still get rear wheel drive V8 power cars, and honestly I found more than 1 or 2 or 3 good condition in platform cars. And of course, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I've always had this dream, this idea of the Hellcat Diplomat, and I think somebody out there should highly consider doing it. Okay, number 4, look, I really wanted to say this for number 5 because this one you might be like, nah Grant, I'm just gonna keep saving money so I can buy something cooler than this. Get outside of that price range. Bear with me, don't laugh, but this was an actual trend on all of the different municipalities I focused on, but the G20 Chevy van, hold on, like I said, look, the goal was V8 power and rear wheel drive. I mean, we can still do smoky burnout in this thing, and I mean, okay, I know what you're thinking. Grant, I don't have an A-team. Grant, I'm not living off of government cheese down by a river. Grant, do you understand the optics of sending my son to high school or college with a freaking van? But hey, before you just flat out give up on this idea and move on and continue to save past $3,650, check out this build and tell me that this isn't cool and reasonable. Number 5, and yes, this is the rule breaker, and the rule that it breaks is that it's got to be drivable. So maybe you got a buddy with a trailer, maybe you've got a AAA membership and you can get this thing towed at a pretty reasonable rate back to your garage. But what I found, oddly, like, this is weird, I don't know how this was a recurring theme, but through all of the 5 or 6 different markets that I looked at, G-Body Oldsmobile Cutlasses that aren't running seem to be fairly affordable and in good shape. So I guess, you know, this is probably the coolest car out of all the bunch, but you're not going to find one running at this price point. But for whatever reason, they're in good shape body-wise. Thank you guys for joining in and embellishing me on the 2023 edition of Budget Builds. It's getting harder and harder to do. Don't know if we'll be doing one for 2024, but I guess only time will tell. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I don't care which one you do, as long as you do one, it really helps the channel out. That's going to do it for this episode. All my 6 fans out there, thanks for watching.